What's up everybody? In this video I'm going to show you a way to maybe slim down a bit some of your viewDidLoad and your view controller by taking advantage of didSet on properties, and in particular these outlets that I've got up here. So let's talk about what that problem is. You know, it's a common problem where view controllers can get out of hand. They get to what we call a fat controller, and you know, this big view controller full of code that's kind of unnecessary. And in particular, we have this habit, or I've certainly seen this habit from developers, and myself included, I've been guilty of this, where we cram code into viewDidLoad that doesn't really need to be there. And I want to give you an example of how to deal with that and ways to spot, you know, some of the things that you can move around. So for example, I have these two lines here, CS content field and PW content field. And if you look up here, right, CS content field and PW content field, they're outlets to text views. And all I'm doing here on the viewDidLoad, in this case I'm only doing one thing, but you know, there could be any number of things that's being done in here to set up that control in the view. Well, this really doesn't need to be here, right? Firstly, we're only going to do this once. Secondly, it doesn't need to be in the viewDidLoad, and all we really want to see in our code, in our functions, is code that matters, right? And we want to keep things as clean as we can. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight and copy that line, and I'll just comment it out there. And I'm going to go up here. Now on the outlet, you know, we can take advantage of didSet to basically set some stuff up here instead. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this on here, and I'm just going to say didSet, right? And it's going to fire off some code. So what this basically means is when the CS content field is set up in the view, I want you to do what's in this code here. So I'm just going to paste it in, right? I want to do that. That's all I need to do here. So I don't need this one here anymore. I can delete this out. Right, I'm going to do the same with this one. I'm just going to take it and remove it from there. I'm going to find it up here, and again I'm just going to put in a didSet. Right, you can put whatever code you need in here. The fact that I've got one line for these doesn't matter. I may be doing multiple things. Maybe I'm setting up font colors, some sizing for the fields, anything related to that field for the setup. Right, and then I'm going to go down to my viewDidLoad and say, okay, is there any more? So I'm seeing this one here, the date field sets a string value and calls this function get current date time for post. And all that function does is return the current date time in a particular format. But again, this does not need to be in here. So I'm going to take it out of here. I'm going to look for the date field up here. There it is right there. Again, I'm just going to do the same thing, didSet, and put it in there, and that's going to be perfectly fine. I'm going to do a build to make sure my code is still working correctly. It should be. There shouldn't be any issues. Yep, okay, great. And then what I'll do is I'm just going to run the application now to prove that everything still works the same. So we've got these three to look for, right? The date field should have a value, and the font size for these two fields should be set up as well. So let's go ahead and run this. All right, here it is. Here's my application. And as I go through here, you can see it's still put the date in that field. And if I just type, this is a string, you can see that it's actually set this font size to be slightly bigger, right? If I do that, you can see that's the normal font size out of the box for a text field, and down here is the one where I've applied the extra sizing. So everything is still working exactly the way I expected. So hopefully this has got you thinking about things slightly differently. All right, granted this is not a huge example here. I only took out a few lines of code, right? I could do the same thing with this site selector here. For example, I could remove everything from the list right up here. So be thinking about this, right? Now, I get it. Some of you are going to be saying, well, I've just shifted some code from down here to up here. Yes, that's true. But think about it in terms of someone else looking at your code as well. If I was to come in here on someone else's code and I saw this date field, I can see, oh, when the date field is created and displayed, this thing is happening, right? And I don't run the risk of missing it here in the viewDidLoad. You know, the ultimate end goal would be fantastic, right? If you found a way to pull all your code out of your viewDidLoad so that you didn't have to have anything in there. I mean, what a wonderful way that would be. So think about these didSet properties going forward and how you can take advantage of them in your code. If this has been helpful, please like, subscribe, share, let me know in the comments, share it with friends. You can find plenty more content like this, anything Swift related, on compileswift.com. You can find me on Twitter at compileswift. I'd love to talk with you and be part of the community. Take care. Speak to you soon.